Sebastian Martinez, MMAnytt here in Houston, Texas for UFC 192 with none other than the former UFC fighter and current kickboxer Pat H.D. Barry. Pat, always in good spirits. How are you doing?
Always, man. It's great to be back in the South, man, where it's warm down here and it's really humid. Other than that, we're just hopefully the fight goes through this time, man. We're ready.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're here for your girlfriend Rose Namajunas, who's got a pretty exciting
fiance, man. My wife, man. Watch out, bro. It's not my girlfriend. Stop calling it that.
Well, you did put a ring on it then.
Yeah, you're right. I did. 3 of them.
All right, now she's got a pretty exciting matchup on her hands. And I'm wondering, like, how do you see this matchup with Hill? Like, was this like when it was first announced? Like, what did you guys think?
Oh no, that's an excellent matchup for the both of them. For both, one, it's an excellent matchup for the fans.
Yeah.
It's an excellent matchup for the crowd, for the people that are watching. 2, it's an excellent matchup for themselves, for each other, because they both fit into each other's strong points. Like, they both, like, their styles, their abilities, they both work really well with each other to make an exciting fight, man. This is exactly the kind of fight that you want. When you got the offer, it was like awesome. Yes.
And, moving the focus back to you, you've obviously, you moved on to kickboxing now. I remember reading that, you were tired of wrestling. You didn't want to think about that.
Yeah.
Looking back, how was that whole sort of departure from MMA and back into kickboxing?
It was a little upsetting. I will say this, because I left MMA because I didn't want to do it anymore. I was going to move back into kickboxing, and when I moved back into kickboxing, I quickly found out that taking 7 years off of kickboxing made me very outdated, man. Very, very, very outdated with my skill and ability. Or the fact that I'm older now, what it takes in order for me to get into what I consider kickboxing shape was grueling, man. I wasn't sure if I was capable of doing that anymore, especially when I've got the star of the show, at least in our household. Rose is where it's at. Rose is where it's at right now. She's the focus, so it's time for me to start slowly backing away. And when I got back into kickboxing, it was apparent I had to back away a lot faster than slowly. This is not for me anymore.
Well, I mean, like you said, it was obviously a little bit tough getting back into it. You did suffer a pretty tough loss, but you managed to bounce back from it. Like, what was it like? First of all, having that loss, but then also turning it around with a win.
Oh, I mean, it was awesome. At the same time, it was a big eye opener to the Pat that I remember that stopped kickboxing in 2007, and then the Pat that I remember that started kickboxing again at the end of 2014. Like, there was a major change, and it was one of the few times I can actually see a change in my life. Oh man, I have gotten older, I have gotten wiser. Not older bad, but just I have grown, I have matured, and I have changed. So just the level that the sport is at nowadays makes me almost kind of jealous. I'm sitting there like, oh man, I wish that I could do that again, and I'll be able to. But at the moment, like I said, while Rose is still in the heat of everything, she's the focus, man. My time is done. I'm gonna just go sit down and just wash dishes.
All right, so you're turning the roles around there a little bit.
I'm definitely venturing out into more of the coaching aspect now. Yeah. The coaching aspect, the training aspect. Like I said, I'm part of the pit crew that keeps Rose the car rolling, on the track. I mean, I'm part of that pit crew, and I've really embraced this role. And I mean, there's nothing in the world that makes me, at the moment, happier than watching her excel. So she's the whole focus.
Now, back to when you used to be the focus, you were such a big star in the UFC, and there were so many exciting fights with you, and I just want to know, like, which is your favorite performance? Which is your favorite fight in the UFC?
Man, out of all of the fights that I had, this is going to be weird. Everybody looks at me funny when I say this. It's either going to be the Czech Congo fight, which I lost, kinda. I think I won. Sometimes I'm like, I think I won twice and he beat me one. I don't know. The Czech Congo fight and the Crow Cop fight. And the Anthony Hardong fight. Like, those 3. Actually, every fight that I had was great in its own way, but Anthony Hardong, Crow Cop, Czech Congo, those were my 3 favorites because of what I got out of them and because of the Pat that arrived and performed with the things that were going against me, the things that were going with me. Like, just those 3 fights were the most memorable that I've had.
And, despite those 2 being losses, like, usually ask a fighter, you say, oh, that one big victory, that one big knockout. Obviously, your knockout over Hardonk was pretty amazing.
Yeah,
but, the Crow Cop and the Czech Congo, like, What motivates you to choose, losses as favorite performances?
Well, one, the Crow Cop fight was everything that was against me, and I was still able to make it to 27 seconds left in the last round before he had to submit me.
Yeah.
He couldn't knock me out.
Which no one expected.
No one expected, but he couldn't knock me out. And what I mean by the things that were against me in that fight was that, as people know, I broke my right hand and I broke my right foot in the first 3 minutes of round one and still fought Crow Cop. Not just some guy who fought Crow Cop, 17 highlight videos on YouTube. I fought Crow Cop all the way to the very end, and he had to submit me in order to finish me. So that was very memorable because I had a lot going against me in a situation where the fight starts. As soon as the fight starts, everything breaks. Now, am I going to continue fighting, or am I just going to quit and go home? You know what I mean? Now, that was Crow Cop. Now, the Czech Congo fight was just the poise and the control that I had myself, just waiting and waiting to the right moment. Everything went according to plan until we found out that I don't know how to hit anyone in the head while they're on the ground. Because I think once I knocked him down the first and the second time, I think I punched him in the shoulders 80 times while he was on, trying to get back up, and that's why I wasn't able to just hit him one more time to finish him. Yeah, but that was a great fight because also I'd never been knocked out, and I'd always had a fear of being knocked out because of all the people that I knocked out. I never wanted to have it happen, so it's kind of like once it finally happened, I was freed from that. And it's like that's not that bad. So that one was another big one for me.
That's pretty good explanations in that case. Well, now that you can sort of go back and look at the UFC heavyweight division more as a fan, who's your favorite current UFC heavyweight?
Still, Cain Velasquez. He's been since I got into the UFC. Even while being in the UFC, I was saying Cain Velasquez is the best. Now, who knows what's going to happen next time he fights? I don't know, but from what I've seen, that guy's ferocious, and he's the shit. Cain. Cain is the best heavyweight there is.
Now, you and Rose, you're very active in social media and very beloved by fans. But does it ever get tiring to sort of be in the spotlight that often for you guys' privacy to constantly be up on Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah. I mean, it's tiring all the time. Fuck, this interview's tiring. It's always. It's tiring when you're at an event, but I mean, this is also part of the job. I've got to use the bathroom really bad, and I'm going to the bathroom. And if you see me and you want a picture and autograph, if I don't stop and give you a picture and autograph, now I'm an asshole because I've got to go to the bathroom, or we've got to go to practice. We have to be at certain meetings. If you don't stop and do what people say, take a picture with me, sign this autograph. I don't care if you have to be on this bus at whatever time. If you don't do it, people instantly hate you. So yeah, it's tiring. It's tiring doing the same. This is not the same interview I've done, but these interviews. How do you feel about the fight? Feeling great. All right. How do you feel about the fight? I'm feeling good. How do you feel about the fight? I don't know anymore. How do you feel about the fight? I don't want to fight. I mean, it's the how can you be motivated and amped up and excited to do the same questions over and over again? Besides the fact that it's fight week, there's a good chance that the pit crew is more nervous than the actual driver. There's a good chance because we've got to keep her tame, we've got to keep her under control, we've got to keep her ready at the same time while keeping her motivated and in the zone, blah, blah, blah. And this is stressful on us. That's why all my hair is going to start falling out soon, man. You know what I mean? But this is definitely, it's much better on this side of
Well, in that case, what's the best way to keep Rose motivated? Because I can imagine every fighter has days when, things just aren't coming together, when things just aren't going right. How do you motivate her?
You know what? It's not so much motivating Rose because she's very self-motivated. She's very, very, very self-motivated. It's reminding her that everything's okay. And it's the constant battle to remind her that no matter what happens, just be yourself. Be always honest. Say what you want to say when you want to say it. Do what you want to do when you want to do it. Just always be honest. Not just verbally being honest, but just be honest with yourself. Am I feeling good about this? Do I want, just be yourself. Always just be Rose. Everything will be fine.
All right, and now, like you said, fans can, they're great, but sometimes can be a pain in the ass. I mean, even I think so. I read the comment section on our website. It can be like, did you even read the article before? But in the end of the day, that's why we're here. And what's your message for the fans who have been following you through all these years?
Oh man, keep on doing what you're doing, man, because the fans are literally who we work for. We don't work for the UFC, or they don't work for the UFC. They don't work for any of these organizations. The fans are who we work for ultimately in the end, because without fans, none of us have jobs. None of us have, really the ability to do. I mean, you can fight, you can do this stuff in the closet by yourself, like in the alley. But in order for us to be able to be who we are today, the fans are one of the most important parts, of the entire equation. Without them, none of this exists.
All right. Very good answer, Pat. Thank you very much.
Thank you.